Welcome to the Sports Betting Preview Show, a pregame.com podcast. This is segment 1, and we're going to take a look at the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. It'll be game 3. I'm joined by Vegas Runner. I'm your host, Marco D'Angelo. We're talking NBA playoffs. VR, we're taping on Tuesday. So far we've had all of game 1s, and we've only had two
game 2s.
Two
Correct.
game 2s. And I want to stop and talk about the 2 game 2s because, and you guys can search pregame.tv and see the video. We talked about some different things to look at in NBA handicapping. And one of the things that we talked about was the zigzag theory.
Correct.
It's a big theory in the NBA. We talked about that it's lost its value a little bit over the last few years because more and more people know about it. But the zigzag theory for game 2, so far, with only a group sampling of 2.
Perfect 2-0.
2-0. And to refresh the zigzag theory, simply stated, you're taking a look at the team that lost game 1, taking them in game 2, and point spread winner was Chicago in game 2. Although they're down 2-0 in the series, they covered the number. They covered the number in game 2.
And Utah tied up the series, getting the money line winner last night.
And I actually had Utah as my play yesterday. And they did even the series. They actually literally stole a game from Denver. And we'll be talking about that one in our second video. But what have you taken from the playoffs thus far?
You could call it the zigzag theory, call it what you will, but the bottom line is there is going to be an adjustment from game 1 to game 2. And I believe the team that lost game 1 has the advantage because even though they're not going to get better in a matter of 2 days, they're going to get different in a matter of 2 days because what you did in game 1 didn't work. So if anything, even though you're going to stick to your game plan, if you're a running team, you're going to run. If you're a half-court offense, you're going to play a half-court set. Difference is you're going to play it a little differently. You're going to run a little different. You're going to set up your half-court a little differently. And I think that's where they have the edge, where the team that won, like you said, doesn't really have much to change. What are you going to do? We won by 15. What should we go to the chalkboard with?
Exactly.
You understand? So I think there's a big edge there for game 2. More importantly, I like it when a team is not playing that well early on, seems like they're out of their element or in a different class, and all of a sudden builds some confidence in the second half and makes a game of it. Because now all of a sudden they're a team who's going to have a different game plan, who says, hey, when we did settle down and calm down, we were able to play with these guys, and we turned a 21-point lead into, a 5-point game. So I think that's why we saw both those teams come back, and get the cover in game 2. I'm not saying that's going to work every time, but I think in the long run, the reasoning makes sense. And I think that's why, that reasoning does turn a profit long term.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And we talked about that last week. Now, moving forward to this particular game, the Cleveland-Chicago, do the Bulls have any chance of playing with the Cavs? Is this the question of, they're going to the slaughter? It's just, is it going to be 4 games, 5 games? What's it going to be? Do they have a chance?
I don't think that they believe now that they're going to win this series, but I do believe they're there to make a series out of it. Even though they lost by double digits both games, they're a team that seems to me, at least personality-wise, that they think they could compete with Cleveland. If anything, they're like daring them. Like, you ain't that good. You only beat us by 10. We're making a game of it. And I think if Cleveland gets complacent, which is easy to do when you blow a team out by double digits, Chicago does have a chance to get back in the series and maybe extend it to 5 games, 6 max. But I don't think they could win more than 1 or 2 games, to be honest with you.
Well, it'll be an interesting game. Let's take a look at the number. You've got the numbers for this game?
Yeah, it opened up at 4.5. Cleveland is a 4.5-point road favorite. Totals at 183. and we're now looking at 193. Excuse me. And we're
I was going over.
Yeah, you're jumping all over that over. And it's now gone down to 4. And the total's still at 193. No move there, but the line has gone down. So little money on the Bulls.
Little money on the Bulls. A lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of theories out there. 0-2 teams returning home. It especially as an underdog, people are gonna. It's going to be an automatic call. This is going to be your free
Correct.
pick, and congratulations on another free pick winner last week. That brings VR's record on free picks 20-8.
Pay-per-view, dude.
20-8 for free, guys. And
drinks are on the house.
My free picks, we won ours last week also by a half a point, but we got the win anyway.
Win, baby.
23-10 the last 33. Folks, those are some serious numbers. I mean, that 43-18.
Good Lord.
For just watching us
That's
for free.
That's like 70%.
That
right here, documented week in and week out.
So I hope you guys are following and enjoy those free picks. So VR, go ahead. We got you got about 3 minutes.
If you bet dimes, if you're betting a dime a game, 2 dimes a game, you could just watch one video a week and not have to do anything else.
That's well put.
It's a good way to put it. So,
well,
you got any entrepreneurs out there? Now, what I really like in this game is the under. I know last game flew over, and I know the over is going to get some play again for this game. But I think we're going to be looking at a different game than we saw in Game 2. I think Chicago's going to come out and they're really going to slow it down even more. And I think they're going to try to make it even more of a physical game. And when that happens, I don't think we're going to see as many points as we did last game. I don't see a lot of fast break points in this one. More importantly, I don't see Cleveland shooting as well as they did on their home court. I mean, LeBron went for 40 in Game 2, shooting from the outside. I don't think that's going to happen in Chicago. So I think at a total of 193, without them making an adjustment since it went over last game, I think there's some value on this under. And when you look at how they played during the season, there's some merit there that, their games have gone under more than they've gone over.
I agree with you. I don't have an official free pick here, but what I took out of that Game 2, the Chicago-Cleveland, really, the final score is a little misleading. It was a 10, they ended up a 10-point victory. Chicago was right there with them the whole game.
They should have covered regardless.
And, wilted late. And I think really, it's a wake-up call to the Cavs because, they were in a position that, at one point, late in the third, early fourth.
Could have went either.
This was a tie game.
Yeah.
And you Cleveland had to, wake up and work for the win. And I think they came in there after the first game and just thought this was going to be too easy.
Too easy, yeah.
This isn't, an 8th seed that, is a 500 ball club. Let's face it. I mean, they made the playoffs with a 500 record. And, got in on the last day of the season to boot, but Chicago showed them, hey, we're here to play, and they know that this Game 3, is the series. If they win the game, it's over because
what people forget too is Cleveland's 30th in the league in free throw shooting. That's not good when you need to cover those kind of numbers. Because if you don't hit those free throws, and that's why I like the under in this game too, because even though it might be more physical and we might see guys get to the line more, that don't mean they're automatic points for either of these teams. I mean, I think even Chicago is 20th or 19th. So free throws are difficult on these teams, and that's why I think we're going to see a low-scoring game.
All right, well, there you have it. You have a free pick from Vegas Runner. He's saying to take the under in Game 3 of the Chicago-Cleveland series, and go to pregame.tv. You can make a prediction on this game as well. If you predict the correct outcome of this game, we'll give you $100 in pregame dollars to spend however you want. Just predict the score. If you hit it on the button, $100 is coming your way, courtesy of pregame.com. And you can always download and listen to all of our podcasts. Just go to iTunes, do a search, just search for pregame.com, and you'll get them all. Download and listen to VR and myself. And this has been segment 1. We're going to be back segment 2. We're going to take a look at the Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets.